Welcome to the Black Mass. We present an adaptation for radio of The Jolly Corner by Henry James.
I know it's only a detail, Denver, but let's stick to the plan. No harm so far, but it's good we caught it in time. All right. We'll meet in the morning for another look. All right, then. Careful there, Alice. I'm sorry I had to stop, but you know you have to keep watch.
I'm impressed.
Impressed?
The way you stood up. Think of it. All these years you may have neglected your real gift.
Building skyscrapers?
Yes. If you had stayed in America, you may have discovered your real genius.
Adding more awful architecture to all this bigness.
Do you find it all really more awful now?
Ah, they were ugly enough then, I remember. But with some charm. Now, proportions and values are upside down. The modern is monstrous.
But you're here, and that's what you think of everything.
Everything. That's too much. I dodge the question. Everything has somehow been a surprise, but even so, my thoughts are almost altogether about something that concerns only myself.
Your property?
Yes. Yes, exactly. I had to come back eventually to look after my property. This new monster is only a renovation. The apartment has flourished all along. I've managed to live for more than 30 years in Europe on the leases. My back turned. Now I've had no trouble catching on. Climbing ladders, learning about materials, looking wise. It's actually been charming. Amusing, catching on to it this way.
Well, you're going to be well off for it, too. Astonishingly much, I should say. You can turn your back again.
Well, I don't know yet.
You mean you'll live here, in one of your marble towers?
Oh, never. I have my other property, you know.
Oh, yes, the old place, you mean, on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if you'd kept it.
You kept it? Oh, yes, I've kept it. It's for that, I think, really, that I returned. I yielded to a humor I've had.
It hasn't changed. I passed now and again. It's still as it was, except that it's empty. The corner has changed, I'm afraid.
Ah, yes, the corner. The Jolly Corner. I called it that, and it was. I was very fond of it as a child. The happy years growing up there. Finally, after my brothers died, the property came wholly into my hands. Yes, I suppose it was to see my house on the Jolly Corner again, as much as anything, that I came back.
Are we walking there now? I was hoping you'd show me.
Do you mind if we stop for a moment? Would you like to see it?
Oh, of course. Is it really empty all this while?
Entirely. Except for Mrs. Muldoon, good woman who lives in the neighborhood. She comes by every day to open windows and dust and sweep.
Oh, it must have been her I saw once when I passed.
No doubt. Do you pass often?
Oh, now and then, to get to the downtown town.
You see? Empty. Empty. Vacancy reigns from top to bottom.
Oh, who's there? Is it you, Mr. Bryden?
Yes, it's me, Mrs. Muldoon. I brought a visitor.
Oh, you gave me your start, you did. Ma'am?
This is Miss Staverton.
Hello, Mrs. Muldoon.
Don't let us interrupt, Mrs. Muldoon. We're just going to look about.
There's no trouble, Mr. Bryden. I know you usually come later in the day, but let me push back some of the shutters and let in some light. Oh, to show you, sir, how little there is to see, I'm afraid.
The rooms are enormous.
Too large, I'm afraid, for the times. For me.
Unless you were a billionaire.
Ah, yes. Had I but stayed at home and invented skyscrapers.
The dining room is off there, but if you will, you can look down here later. It's my noonday round before leaving, and I can open up for you upstairs.
Oh, don't bother about us, Mrs. Muldoon. We'll just walk about.
Oh, no bother at all, Mr. Bryden. I'm only too glad to oblige. There's only one request I hope you never make of me, sir.
Well, and what's that?
Oh, well, if you should wish for any reason to come in after dark, I would just have to tell you, if you please. But you must ask it of someone else.
You mean there are things to see, then?
It's what you might see, miss. And I put it to you that no lady could be expected to like scraping up to them top stories in the evil hours, could she?
Evil hours?
What with the gas and electricity off, they're evil enough. I've sometimes been late enough to need a taper, and it's been a gruesome march through all them grey rooms.
I can imagine it, Mrs. Muldoon.
What do you imagine? Ghosts? Do you imagine my jolly corner is haunted? Well, there'd be nothing to fear.
Maybe. But I'm not of a mind to find that out, Mr. Bryden. Now, I'll go ahead and open things and leave you to your own. Then I must go off if you'll not be needing anything.
Thanks, Mrs. Muldoon. I'll lock up when we leave.
Ma'am?
There used to be a fine view here of the river. There you can still see a slice of it between the buildings.
10 stories higher, you'd have your view again. I suppose that's what they want. To pull this place to pieces and start up.
It's exactly what they want. They're at me daily. They can't for their lives understand a man's liability to decent feelings. There are, after all, other values.
In short, you're to make so good a thing of your skyscraper that those ill-gotten gains will afford you to be sentimental here.
Well, yes, exactly. But is it sentimental? No, it's more. It searches me as I wander about.
Oh, you prowl?
Mere sight of the walls, shapes of the rooms, sound of the floors. This old silver-plated knob. I hold it and feel the slightest pressure of other palms. Dead ones now. 70 years of the past. The ashes of my youth still afloat in the air. Well, I thought I had forgotten.
But you can live here again if you decide to stay on.
I might have lived here. I might have put in here all these years. Then everything would have been different enough. But that's another matter. And I can't now. And so the beauty of it, of my perversity, my refusal to tear it down, is the total absence of a reason. If there were reason, it would have to be a matter of dollars. So we'll have none. Not the ghost of one.
Are you very sure that the ghost of one doesn't, sir?
Oh, ghosts. Of course the place must swarm with them. I should be ashamed of it if it didn't. Poor Mrs. Muldoon's right, and it's why I haven't asked her to do more than look in.
Well, if it were only furnished and lived in.
For me, it is lived in. For me, it is furnished.
Yes.
Well, this old elm lives on.
What a charming garden.
The memory is so alive. So alive. Mother, father, My dear sister, that was her room up there with the balcony. I've seen her 1,000 times sitting there, looking down, calling. My brothers, they're all gone, simply having run their course, having met their end one way or another.
And what would have become of you?
Yes. All things come back to that. What might I have been? What course would I have run? An absurd, but I must admit, an intense speculation.
A morbid obsession?
What would it have made of me? What? I keep forever thinking about it. Idiotically, how could I possibly know?
Well, you see what it has made of others.
Something. Would it have made something of me?
Well, you're something else.
Oh, Alice, I'm nothing. Nothing at all.
You followed your own preference. That's something.
Yes, Europe, running off. I liked it, I loved it. If I'd only the least doubt, I would have stuck it out here. But I was too young, 27. That small, tight bud transplanted to a climate that blighted him once and for all.
You wonder about the flower. So do I. I've been wondering these several weeks. I believe in the flower. It would have been quite splendid, quite huge and monstrous.
Monstrous. Monstrous above all. And I imagine by the same stroke quite hideous and offensive.
You don't believe that. If you did, you wouldn't wonder. You'd know, and that would be enough for you. What you feel, and what I feel for you, is that you'd have had power.
You'd have liked me that way?
How should I not have liked you?
I see, you'd have liked me, preferred me, a billionaire.
How should I not have liked you?
Well, I know at least what I am. I've not been edifying. I believe I'm thought in 100 quarters to have been barely decent. I followed strange paths and worshipped strange gods. It must have come to you again and again. In fact, you've admitted as much, that I was leading all these 30 years a selfish, frivolous, scandalous life. And you see what it has made of me.
You see what it has made of me.
Oh, you're a person whom nothing could have altered. You were born to be what you are, anywhere, anyway. You've the perfection nothing else could have blighted. If I hadn't left, don't you see how I'd never have waited till now?
The great thing to see seems to me to be that it hasn't spoiled anything. It hasn't spoiled your being here at last. It hasn't spoiled this. It hasn't spoiled your speaking or...
Do you believe, then, that I am as good as I might have been?
Oh, no, far from it. But I don't care.
You mean that I'm good enough?
Will you believe it if I say so? I mean, will you let that settle the question for you?
There's an idea. Some idea which, however absurd, I cannot yet bargain away.
Oh, you see, you don't care either. But very differently. You don't care for anything but yourself.
Exactly. But he isn't myself. He's the just so totally other person. But I do want to see him. And I can. And I shall.
Yes. You shall. Well, in any case, I've seen him.
You?
I've seen him in a dream.
Oh, a dream.
But twice. I saw him as I see you now.
You've dreamed the same dream?
Twice over. The very same.
You dream about me at that rate?
About him.
Then you know all about him. Well, what's the wretch like?
I'll tell you sometime. Some other time.
It was after that visit with Alice that there was most of a virtue for me in surrender to my obsession. I sometimes came twice in the 24 hours. I projected myself all day, straight over the bristling line of hard, unconscious heads, and into the other, the real, the waiting life. The moments I liked best were those of gathering dusk, of the short autumn twilight. The time which again and again I found myself hoping most, listening, feeling my attention, never before so fine, on the pulse of the great, vague place. I always caught the effect of the steel point of my stick on the old marble of the hall pavement, on the black and white squares, where I played once, long ago. A dim, reverberating tinkle from the depths of the house, of the past, of that mystical other world that might have flourished for me had I not abandoned it. I'd put my stick noiselessly away in a corner, then feel the place in the lightness of some great glass bowl, all precious concave crystal, set delicately humming by the play of a moist finger round its edge. The concave crystal held this mystical otherworld, and the murmur of its rim was the sigh there, the scarce audible pathetic wail of all the baffled, forsworn possibilities. What I did was to wake them. They were shy, all but unappeasably shy, but they weren't really sinister. At least, not before they had taken the form I so yearned to make them take. The form I hunted. Hunted from room to room, story to story. Long after midnight, with my glimmering light, moving it slowly, holding it high. And he would roam restlessly too. When I stopped, I could hear him. He was cautious, shifty. His evasion laying on me finally a rigor to which nothing in my life has been comparable. No pleasure as fine as this tension. No sport demanding the patience and nerve of this stalking a creature more subtle, more formidable than any beast of the forest. I'd place my light on some mantel shelf and step back into a shelter or shade as if a rock or tree, holding my breath, living in the joy of the instant. With habit and repetition, I gained to an extraordinary degree the power to penetrate the distances, the darkness of corners, to resolve back into their innocence the treacheries of uncertain light, the evil-looking forms taken in the gloom by mere shadows, by accidents of the air, by shifting effects of perspective. And putting down my light, I could still wander on without it, pass into other rooms, see my way, visually project a comparative clearness. It made me feel this acquired faculty like some monstrous stealthy cat. I wondered if I would have glared at these moments with large shining yellow eyes, and what it would be for my poor hard-pressed alter ego to be confronted with such a creature. Apparitions. Oh, of apparitions. People have been in terror of apparitions, but who had ever before so turned the tables and become himself in the apparitional world an incalculable terror? I liked the open shutters. I opened everywhere those Mrs. Muldoon had closed, closing them as carefully afterward. I liked, and above all in the upper rooms, the sense of the hard silver of the autumn stars through the window panes, the flare of the street lamps below. That was human, actual, social. The world I had lived in. That light supported me mostly in the rooms to the front and the prolonged side, though it failed me in the central shades and the part at the back. There the house was the very jungle of my prey. The place was more subdivided there. Small rooms for servants had been multiplied, nooks and corners abounded, and there was a back staircase over which I leaned many a time to look far down. My whole perception was open to cultivation, bringing it to perfection by practice, grown already so fine that I could hear. Well, there was something unmistakable. I felt it as I walked. I was being kept in sight, tracked at a distance, so that I should appear less arrogantly to myself merely to pursue. I'd make abrupt turns, wheel about, stop, seek it out. I had kept vistas clear, doors open, so that in the darkness my imagination might almost achieve it, project into it. A refinement, a beauty. I had known 50 times the start of perception that had afterwards dropped, had 50 times gasped, there, under some fond, brief hallucination. But he'd retreat. Though he retreated more reluctantly as time went on. Then, finally, one night, at the top among the more intricate rooms, he was there. He was there waiting, not falling back, waiting at the far end of a series of rooms I had just passed through, waiting, worked up finally to anger, ready to fight. Thus we stood. Both terror and what? Rejoicing. Terror, but also relief that in that other form I could inspire such fear. Thus we were one and the same. The door between the rooms was open, and from a second another opened to a third. But there the chain ended. The third door, which had only moments before been indubitably opened, had subsequently been closed. I stood before it. The question of danger loomed, and with it as never before the question of courage. For what I knew the blank face of the door to say was, show us how much you have. Show us how much you have. It glared back at me with that challenge, and he behind it shut up, defiant, turning the situation. Oh, discretion. Discretion. It could take its time. But at the threshold, this hunger so close to being met, it was amazing, but also exquisite and rare that insistence should have quite dropped from me. Discretion. Could it save the situation? I wouldn't touch the door. I wouldn't touch it. I'd only wait a little to prove that I wouldn't. I listened. as if there was something to hear. And this attitude between us, while it lasted, was its own communication. If you won't, then good, I spare you. I give up. We both should have suffered. I retire, never to try again. So rest forever. Rest and let me. I turned away. I turned away. I turned away and retraced my steps. And finally, at the other side of the house, I did what I had never done at these hours. I opened half a casement and let in the air of the night. Spell was now broken, and it didn't matter. The empty street. Its other life, so marked even by the great lamplit vacancy, was within call, within touch. High above I watched, as for some comforting common fact, some vulgar human note, a scavenger, a thief, some night bird I would have blessed, positively welcomed that sign of life. But nothing. Oh, nothing. Discretion even there. Not the least stir of the great grim hush. The life of the town was itself discreet, under a spell. Great builded voids. Have they ever spoken so little to any need of the spirit? Great crowded stillnesses with its sinister mask. Oh, it was this large collective negation that proved to me at last what a night I had made of it. I thought, of course, of retracing my steps. There was, after all, the whole rest of the house to traverse for me to leave safely. Safely. Unless the door had meanwhile opened, and he was once more at large and in possession. But if I saw the door open, if I saw it, it would send me straight to this window and make my way uncontrollably, insanely, fatally to the street. No, I wouldn't look. That hideous chance I avert only by recoiling in time from assurance. Assurance. I have the whole house now to deal with. My instinct is all for mildness, but I ran through the rooms, the passages, to finally the top of the stairs. Mildness, yes, I take it all with no rush. No rush, but quite steadily. The house seems immense. The scale of space inordinate. They might come in now, the builders, the destroyers, they might come as soon as they want. Do you hear, all you rooms, all you steps and flights? The wreckers will have you. The wreckers will have you a splintered pile. I descended as if to the bottom of the sea. The last flight to the lower hall. Oh, there, the marble floor. The squares, black and white, of my childhood. Only to cross these once more to the door to safety. To safety. The vestibule gaped wide. The inner door had been thrown far back. That one I had closed. Oh, at last, he to me, to touch, to know. The penumbra, dense and dark, was the virtual screen of a figure which stood in it as still as some image erect in a niche, or as some black-visored sentinel guarding a treasure. A treasure. My liberation. Oh, my supreme defeat. Grey, glimmering margin. The central vagueness diminishing, taking form. It was somebody. Somebody, something. What made the face dim was a pair of raised hands that covered it, buried it. The head was bent. The figure wore evening dress of gleaming silk lappet and white linen, pearl buttons, gold watchguard, polished shoes. A pair of thick eyeglasses hung from a string. My revulsion had become immense. He hides his face from seeing. Standing there for the achieved, the enjoyed, the triumphant life, yet he can't bear to be faced. Wasn't the proof in the covering hands? The hands. So spread that I could see that one of the hands had lost 2 fingers. They were reduced to stumps as if accidentally shot away. But even so, the face was guarded and saved. Coward! Coward! Show yourself! Show yourself! No, it isn't mine. It isn't me. It is hideous, monstrous. It fits me at no point. Imposter! The face is that of a stranger. It approaches, comes upon me nearer. He is evil, odious, blatant, and vulgar. He advances as for aggression, and I, sick with the force of his shock, fall back under this life larger than my own, this rage of personality under which my own collapses, turns to darkness, gives way, is gone.
Mr. Brydon. Mr. Brydon. Oh, ma'am. He's coming round, I think. Mr. Brydon, sir. You gave us a scare, you did.
Mrs. Muldoon, he'll be all right. Would you fix something?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll go to my place for some tea now, or broth. Some broth would be better now. I'll only be a few moments now.
Mrs. Muldoon, don't bother.
She's gone. She'll be right back.
Alice.
Don't move. Lie here a moment. We found you here in front of the vestibule. You had fallen.
Oh, where was I?
We thought you were dead.
It must have been that I was. Oh, yes, I can only have died. You brought me to life. How?
And now I shall keep you.
Oh, keep me. Keep me. Keep me, Alice. But how did you know to find me?
I was uneasy. You were to have come. Do you remember? And you sent no word.
Oh, yes, I remember. I was still out there in my strange darkness. Where was it? What was it? I must have stayed there so long. So you knew of this, of what has happened.
I've known that you've been coming here.
Known?
Well, I believed it after our talk here.
That I'd persist.
That you'd see him.
Ah, but I didn't. There's somebody, some beast that I brought to bay, but it is not me.
No, thank heaven, it's not you. Of course, it wasn't to have been.
But it was. It was that. I was to have known myself.
I, too, saw you.
Saw me?
saw him. It might have been at the same moment. In my dream again, he came back to me. I knew it for a sign that he had come to you.
He didn't come to me.
You came to yourself.
Now, yes, I've come to myself thanks to you, but this brute with his awful face, a black stranger, he's none of me, even as I might have been.
Isn't the whole point that you'd have been different?
As different as that.
Haven't you wanted to know exactly how different? But anyway, you appeared to me.
Like him?
Yes, a black stranger.
And how did you know it was I?
He told me you had seen him.
You liked him. You liked him, that horror.
I could have. He was no horror. I had accepted him.
Accepted?
I didn't disown him. I knew him. You, my dear, so cruelly didn't. You saw only his difference. Well, he was less dreadful to me. It may have pleased him that I pitied him.
Pitied?
He's been unhappy, ravaged.
And haven't I been unhappy? Am I not ravaged?
I don't say I like him better. But he's grim, he's worn. Things have happened to him. His glasses, I recognized the kind for his poor ruined sight. And his poor right hand.
And he has $1 million a year. He has $1 million a year. But he hasn't you.
And he isn't you. He isn't you.
Mr. Bryden. Oh, sir, you're all right again, I see. Now, shall I bring the tea to you here, or can you come outside?
We'll go outside, Mrs. Muldoon.
We're all right now.
Go ahead, Mrs. Muldoon. We'll follow. No, he isn't you. He isn't you.
That was The Jolly Corner by Henry James. You heard Erik Bauersfeld as Bryden and Pat Franklin as Alice. The technical production was by John Whiting, with music composed by Peter Winkler. The bassoon was performed by Bill Kaufman, and the story was adapted for radio by Erik Bauersfeld. And now, good night.
Welcome to the Black Mass.
hear The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft. The story was adapted and performed by Erik Bauersfeld. Here now is The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft.
Unhappy is he to whom the memories of childhood bring only fear and sadness. I know not where I was born. I remember only this castle, infinitely old and infinitely horrible, full of dark passages and dismal, high-ceilinged chambers. The stones in the crumbling corridors seemed always hideously damp, and the smell everywhere, coming up out of the deeper passages from the remains there. The generations of bones that led endlessly down into the earth. The light was a dim and uniform gray, throwing no shadows. Outside in the forest, there was no sunlight able to come through the trees. The branches thickly interwove overhead, cutting out all sight of anything above. Except there was one black tower of the castle that reached beyond the trees. It rose up inside into a dark and inaccessible height. There was no stairway. It could not be ascended save by an impossible climb up the sheer wall, stone by stone. I must have lived in this place all my childhood, but I cannot measure the time. Someone must have cared for my needs. Yet I cannot recall any person except myself, or anything else alive. I think that whoever nursed me must have been terribly aged. My first conception of a living person was of something distorted, shriveled, decaying. I remember there was such a corpse. I often went to it with a feeling of reverence and attachment. It was a woman, ancient, lying as she had died, partly eaten around the throat and chest, the terrible gesture of horror in her sprawled position and opened mouth. I would sometimes roam the passage where she lay. I seemed to be drawn there. I wanted to kneel before it, to lie my head against it. Once I recall, I reached out to touch her, and she seemed to draw away in horror as if some instinct of recoil had penetrated to the very bones of the hideous thing. It fell off the ledge, breaking apart on the stones below. I dared not touch her again. Otherwise, to me, there was nothing grotesque in the bones and skeletons that populated my world. They were to me more natural than the colored pictures of living people I found in many of the ancient books that lined shelves and piled corners. From such books, I learned all that I know. No teacher urged or guided me, and I do not recall hearing any human voice in all those years, not even my own. Although I read of speech, I had never thought to try speaking aloud myself. I felt conscious of youth because I remembered so little. I'd wander outside by the moat, filled with a thick and stagnant water. I imagined it to be the great seas I saw in the picture books. I even constructed a boat, a toy boat, with mast, and set it upon the water, but the slime held it. It couldn't sail. I watched it slip through the surface, sinking slowly, inch by inch down till it disappeared. Across the moat, under the dark, mute trees, I would often lie and dream for hours about what I read in the books, and would longingly picture myself there in the sunny world beyond the forest.
So long. And now nothing will separate us. Nothing.
The pictures would fade. They were not real. Oh, I wanted to make them real. I'd try to escape the forest. I'd run. I'd run, but the farther I ran from the castle, the more dense became the shade. The thickness filled me with a terrible fear until I forgot my search and turned back. So through endless twilights I dreamed and waited. For what? Only skulls looked up at me, their gaping jaws, their silence. In my madness, I'd crush them. Who put me here? Why? My longing for light grew so frantic I could rest no more. The tower that reached up into the dark absorbed me. I stood beneath it and raised my hands into the abyss. There must be a way. There must be. I stood flat against the stones, grasping them. Strange, I could hold on to the stones more easily than I thought. I pulled myself up, stone by stone, round the tower and up. Up. I stopped and looked above. There was no end to the darkness. Below, the dim light seemed to be fading. But I had no fear. Oh, no fear. No fear, only great anticipation. Why hadn't I tried before? There were ledges in the rock, and places to hold. Places to hold. Hours later, I had reached the top, I clung to the stone, my head against a roof, a stone panel that would lift. Oh, the climb had strengthened, not weakened me. Oh, it took mere effort now to brace my shoulders against it and push up and out from the wall. The effort, the strain was pure joy. I felt as if something else was working, some other thing in me that drew me out. I was out. The stone had fallen shut, but I had reached the outside. And overhead was the radiant full moon. I had never seen it before except in dreams and in vague visions. Memory. Sweet light fell upon me like... But where was I? How high above the trees? It seemed I was on a stone platform, but vast, an observatory. But there were columns about, broken. And beyond the platform, other stones. Small ones with inscriptions and dates. And between the stones, Earth. There stretched around me nothing less than the solid earth, housed with marble slabs and columns, and overshadowed by an ancient stone church whose ruined spires gleamed spectrally in the moonlight. The earth. The earth. Was this insanity? Or dreaming? There was a familiarity. Oh, but no, this was the world, and I would go forth to meet it. There were meadows with the smell of grass and trees that did not cover the sky. Oh, and houses. Some ancient ruins that my mind tried to reconstruct, but others with lights. I could see figures inside. Lights. My mind played tricks. If I looked too long, the lights would fade. The figures melt away. The walls seem ancient, ruins. As if my own castle back there. No, I wouldn't. I walked on. I almost knew the road. On. In a direction. Yes. Inevitably in a direction. A large lit house, surrounded by a park, with great windows, ablaze with light and sound. There was a courtyard. Oh. This was the world. Oh, how brilliant it was. How merry. I had never heard human voices before. Yet it was familiar. Some of the faces seemed to hold expressions that brought up remote recollections. Oh, they smiled. They talked to each other. They laughed. Oh, world! The windows before me were two doors. I put my hands to each to enter and pushed open into the joyous room. And the people became silent. They all stared with a strange and familiar expression. I tried to speak to them, but it was hard to speak. No! I walked toward them, but they fled. Every face distorted. Screams, hands covering their eyes. Stumbling away. Wait. Like mist, they faded before me. They seemed to melt into the walls, through doors, dragging each other. No, wait! They had all been gathered before a wall, which now stood bare, with gilded designs bordering an archway, but the arch was glass, reflecting the room. There was only one figure in it, vague as I approached. Then more and more clearly I could see it. Compound of all that is unclean, unwelcome, abnormal, and detestable. The ghoulish shade of decay, antiquity, and dissolution. Dripping, putrid eidolon of some unwholesome revelation. The awful bearing of that which the merciful earth should always hide. It was not, or no longer, of this world. Yet in its eaten away bony outlines I saw a leering, abhorrent travesty on the human shape. No. The eyes as I approached held mine open. I couldn't turn away. But I would wipe out the sight. I'd reach out. I stretched out my fingers to the abomination, to touch a cold and unyielding surface of polished glass. But it would yield. At that last moment, I had recognized him. When I returned to the graveyard, the stone door was immovable. Now I ride with the mocking and friendly ghouls on the night wind, and play by day in the catacombs. I know that light is not for me, save that of the moon. Yet in my new wildness and freedom, I welcome the bitterness of alienage. For I know always that I am an outsider, stranger in this century. For a time. A stranger among those who are still men.
That was The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft. The story was adapted for radio and performed by Erik Bauersfeld, with technical production by John Whiting. And now, good night.
Everyone who has travelled over eastern England knows the smaller country houses with which it is studded. The rather dank buildings, usually in the Italian style, surrounded with parks of some 80 to 100 acres. I have to tell you of a curious series of events which happened in such a house. It is Castringham Hall, in Suffolk. I think a good deal has been done to the building since the period of my story. One feature that marked out the house from a score of others is gone. As you looked at it from the park, you saw on the right a great old ash tree, growing within half a dozen yards of the wall, and almost or quite touching the building with its branches. I suppose it had stood there ever since Castringham ceased to be a fortified place. At any rate, it had well nigh attained its full dimensions in the year 1690. In that year, the district in which the house is situated was the scene of a number of witch trials. Castringham contributed a victim to the extortions. Mrs. Mothersole was her name, and she differed from the ordinary run of village witches only in being rather better off and in a more influential position. Efforts were made to save her by several reputable farmers of the parish. But what seems to have been fatal to the woman was the evidence of the then proprietor of Castringham Hall, Sir Matthew Fell.
Sir Matthew, will you tell the court, please, what you saw regarding Mrs. Mothersole on the evenings that you mentioned?
Well, on 3 different occasions from my window, I watched her, Mrs. Mothersole, at the full of the moon, gathering sprigs from the ash tree near my house. She had climbed into the branches and was cutting off small twigs with a peculiarly curved knife. And as she did so, she seemed to be talking to herself. On each occasion, I did my best to capture the woman, but she had always taken alarm at some accidental noise I had made. All I could see when I got down to the garden was a hare running across the path in the direction of the village. On the 3rd night, I followed her at what speed I could. I went straight to Mrs. Mothersole's house. I had to wait a quarter of an hour battering at her door, and when she came out, she was very cross, and apparently very sleepy, as if just out of bed. And as I had no good explanation to offer, I had to apologize, rather embarrassingly.
Mainly on this evidence,
though there was much more of a less striking and unusual kind from other parishioners, Mrs. Mothersole was found guilty and condemned to die. She was hanged a week after the trial with 5 or 6 more unhappy creatures. The other victims were apathetic or broken down with misery. But Mrs. Mothersole was, as in life so in death, of a very different temper.
Oh, her poisonous rage did so work upon the bystanders, yea, even upon the hangman, that it was constantly affirmed of all that saw her, that she presented the very living aspect of a mad devil.
Yet she offered no resistance to the officers of the law. Only she looked upon those that laid hands upon her with so direful and venomous an aspect.
Aye, the mere thought of it preyed inwardly upon my mind for 6 months after.
However, all that Mrs. Mothersole is reported to have said was seemingly meaningless words.
There will be guests at the hall. There will be guests at Castringham Hall, Sir Matthew. There will be guests at the hall.
Sir Matthew Fell, then deputy sheriff, was present at the execution, and was not unimpressed at the bearing of the woman. He shared certain misgivings over the whole business with the vicar of his parish as they rode from the scene of the gallows.
I'll say it again, Mr. Crome. My evidence at the trial was not given willingly. I'm not at all specially infected with the witch-finding mania, but I declare that I could not give any other account of the matter than what I had given. And I could not possibly have been mistaken in what I saw. But the whole transaction has been repugnant to me. Now, I am a man who likes to be on pleasant terms with those about me. Yes, those are my sentiments, Mr. Crome.
And the good vicar applauded them, as any reasonable man would have done, and was easily persuaded to take a late supper at the hall. When Mr. Crome thought of starting for home, about 9:30 o'clock, Sir Matthew and he took a turn on the gravelled walk at the back of the house. They were in sight of the ash tree, which I described as growing near the windows of the building, when Sir Matthew stopped.
Mr. Crome, look there a moment.
Where, Sir Matthew?
At the ash tree there. Look, what is that runs up and down the trunk of it? It is never a squirrel. They will all be in their nests by now.
Oh, yes, I see some sort of moving creature.
What can you make of it, Mr. Crome?
Nothing of its color in this moonlight, Sir Matthew. But now it's gone.
Was it a squirrel?
Well, for an instant there was a sharp outline, and I could swear, though it sounds foolish, that squirrel or not, it had more than 4 legs. Aye, more than 4 legs, Sir Matthew. Next day, Sir Matthew Fell was not downstairs at 6 in the morning, as was his custom, nor at 7, nor yet at 8. Hereupon the servants went and knocked at his chamber door. When the door was at last opened from the outside, they found their master dead and black. Mr. Crome came as quickly as he could to the hall, and was shown to the room where the dead man lay. Many years later, Mr. Crome's notes regarding this incident were found among his papers. They showed how genuine a respect and sorrow he felt for Sir Matthew, and they also threw some light upon the common beliefs of the time. There was not any the least trace of an entrance having been forced to the chamber.
but the casement stood open, as my poor friend would always have it in this season. He had his evening drink of small ale in a silver vessel of about a pint measure, and tonight had not drunk it out. This drink was examined by the physician from Bury, Mr. Hodgkins, who could not, however, as he afterward declared upon his oath before the coroner's quest, discover that any matter of a venomous kind was present in it. For, as was natural in the great swelling and blackness of the corpse, there was talk made among the neighbors of poison. The body was very much disordered as it lay in the bed, being twisted after so extreme a sort as gave too probable a conjecture that my worthy friend and patron had expired in great pain and agony. And, what is as yet unexplained, and to myself the argument of some horrid and artful design in the perpetrators of this barbarous murder, was this, that the women which were entrusted with the laying out of the corpse and washing it, being both sad persons and very well respected in their mournful profession, came to me in great pain and distress, both of mind and body, saying what was indeed confirmed upon the first view.
We had no sooner touched the breast of the corpse with our naked hands than we felt a violent smart and aching in our palms.
Aye, and the swelling, the swelling from the palms to the elbows, so immoderately. The pain still continuing that for many weeks afterwards we were forced to lay by the exercise of our calling.
And yet no mark to be seen on the skin. No mark seen on the skin.
Upon hearing this, I sent for the physician, and we made as careful a proof as we were able, by the help of a small magnifying lens, of the condition of the skin on this part of the body. But we could not detect any matter of importance beyond a couple of small punctures or pricks, which we then concluded were the spots by which the poison might be introduced, remembering that ring of Pope Borgia, with other known specimens of the horrid art of the Italian poisoners of the last age. So much is to be said of the symptoms seen on the corpse. As to what I am to add, it is merely my own experiment, and to be left to posterity to judge whether there be anything of value therein. There was on the table by the bedside a Bible of the small size in which my friend used nightly and upon his first rising to read a set portion. And I, taking it up, not without a tear duly paid to him, it came into my thoughts to make trial of that old and by many accounted superstitious practice of drawing the swords. I must needs admit that by my trial not much assistance was afforded me. Yet, as the cause and origin of these dreadful events may hereafter be searched out, I set down the results. In the case, it may be found that they pointed the true quarter of the mischief to a quicker intelligence than my own. I made then 3 trials, opening the book and placing my finger upon certain words, which gave in the first these words from St. Luke, chapter 13, verse 7.
Cut it down. Cut it down.
And in the second, Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 20.
It shall never be inhabited. It shall never be inhabited.
And upon the third experiment, Job, chapter 39, verse 30.
Our young ones also suck up blood. Our young ones also suck up blood.
This is all that need be quoted from Mr. Crome's paper. Sir Matthew Fell was duly coffined and laid into the earth. His son, Sir Matthew II, succeeded to the title and estates. It is to be mentioned, though the fact is not surprising, that the new baronet did not occupy the room in which his father had died, nor, indeed, was it slept in by anyone but an occasional visitor during the whole of his occupation. He died in 1735, and I do not find that anything particular marked his reign, save a curiously constant mortality among his cattle and livestock in general, which showed a tendency to increase as time went on. The second Sir Matthew was duly succeeded by his son, Sir Richard. It was in his time that the great family pew was built out on the north side of the parish church. So large were the squire's ideas that several of the graves on that unhallowed side of the building had to be disturbed to satisfy his requirements. Among them was that of Mrs. Mothersole. A certain amount of interest was excited in the village when it was known that the famous witch, still remembered by a few, was to be exhumed. And the feeling of surprise, and indeed disquiet, was very strong when it was found that though her coffin was fairly sound and unbroken, there was no trace whatever inside of it of body, bones, or dust. One morning, it was in 1754, Sir Richard woke after a night of discomfort.
Mrs. Chiddock, I can certainly not sleep in that room again.
Oh, sir?
The chimney smoked persistently, yet it was so cold that the fire had to be kept up. Furthermore, something had so rattled about the window in the wind that no man could get a moment's peace. No, I'll certainly not sleep in that room again, Mrs. Chiddock. I shall select a new room this morning.
As you say, sir. There's the fine large study across the hall, if I may suggest.
No, it has an eastern aspect. I must have a room with a western lookout, so that the sun does not wake me early. And the room must be out of the way. I don't want servants forever passing the door.
Well, Sir Richard, you know there is but one room like that in the house.
Oh? Which may that be?
Why, sir, that is Sir Matthew's room, the west chamber.
Well, put me in there. I lie there tonight.
But no one has slept there these 40 years. The air has hardly been changed since Sir Matthew died there.
Well, then it's time the air be changed. Come along, Mrs. Chiddock. I'll see the chamber at least.
So it was opened, and indeed the smell was very close and earthy. Sir Richard crossed to the window, threw the shutters back, and flung open the casement. The view was almost entirely blocked off by the ash tree.
Oh, sir, the tree. It makes the room so oppressive, so dampish, sir.
Well, we'll shortly take care of that. Air the room, Mrs. Chiddock, all today, and move my bed furniture in the afternoon. When the Bishop of Kilmore arrives, you can put him in my old room.
But, sir, there's a fearfulness about this room. It's the very room...
Yes, it is here my grandfather died. Make no difficulties about it, Mrs. Chiddock. I do not wish to listen to any more. Be about the airing.
In the afternoon, the Bishop of Kilmore arrived. He had risked the approaching storm in order to have an hour with Sir Richard before the arrival of the other guests. The bishop had brought with them a manuscript, come upon while exploring the papers and other remains of the once vicar of Castringham. And, for the first time, Sir Richard was confronted with the enigmatical Sortes Biblicae of Mr. Crome, which you have already heard. They amused him a great deal.
Well, my grandfather's Bible gave one prudent piece of advice: cut it down. If that stands for the ash tree, you may rest assured I shall not neglect it. Such a nest of catarrhs and agues was never seen.
I was wondering, sir, your parlour here contains the family books.
Ah, yes, I wonder whether the old prophet is there yet. Now, let's see. The Bibles are kept over here. And I know the one, a thick, dumpy... Ah, yes, here it is. Look here. Look here. Sure enough, the inscription's on the flyleaf. To Matthew Fell, from his loving godmother, Anne Aldis. The 2nd of September, 1659. Well, your lordship, it would be no bad plan to test him again, eh? I'll wager we'll get several family names from the chronicles. Let's see now. See, what do we have here?
Thou shalt seek me in the morning, and I shall not be. Thou shalt seek me in the morning, and I shall not be.
Later came the other guests. Dinner at 5, wine, cards, supper, and dispersal to bed. Next morning, Sir Richard is disinclined to take his gun with the rest. He talks instead with the Bishop of Kilmore. As the two were walking along the terrace and talking over certain alterations and improvements for the house, the bishop suddenly pointed to the window of the west room.
You could never get one of my Irish flock to occupy that room, Sir Richard. Ah? Why is that, my lord? It is, in fact, my own room.
Well, our Irish peasantry will always have it that it brings the worst of luck to sleep near an ash tree. And your fine growth of ash is not 2 yards from your chamber window. Perhaps it has given you a touch of its quality already. You do not seem, if I may say it, so much the fresher for your night's rest as your friends would like to see you.
Yes, that or something else, it has true cost me my sleep from 12 to 4, my lord. But the tree is to come down tomorrow, so I shall not hear much more from it.
I applaud your determination. It can hardly be wholesome to have the air you breathe strained, as it were, through all that leafage.
Your lordship is right there, I think. But I had not my window open last night. It was rather the noise that went on, no doubt from the twigs sweeping the glass that kept me open-eyed.
Oh, I think that can hardly be, Sir Richard. Here, you can see it from this point. None of those nearest branches can touch your casement. Unless there were a gale, and there was none of that last night. Or they missed the panes by a foot.
No, sir, true. What then will it be, I wonder, that scratched and rustled so? Aye, and covered the dust on my sill with lines and marks.
Ah, well, sir, might it be the rats? The rats that must have come up through the ivy.
Of course, the rats. It was the rats.
So the day passed quietly, and night came, and the party dispersed to their rooms, and wished Sir Richard a better night. And now we are in his bedroom, with the light out and the squire in bed. The night outside is still and warm, so the window stands open. There is very little light about the bedstead, but there is a strange movement there. It seems as if Sir Richard were moving his head, rapidly, to and fro, with only the slightest possible sound. And now you would guess, so deceptive is the half-darkness, that he had several heads, round and brownish, which moved back and forward even as low as his chest. It is a horrible illusion. Is it nothing more? Ah, there, something drops off the bed with a soft plump, like a kitten, and is out of the window in a flash. Another, 4 of them. And after that, there is quiet again.
Thou shalt seek me in the morning, and I shall not be. Thou shalt seek me in the morning, and I shall not be.
As with Sir Matthew, so with Sir Richard, dead and black in his bed. A pale and silent party of guests and servants gathered under the window when the news was known. Ominous guesses were hazarded. Italian poisoners, popish emissaries, infected the air. But the Bishop of Kilmore looked up at the ash tree. He noticed that a white tomcat was crouching in the lower boughs, looking down the hollow which years had gnawed in the trunk. It was watching something inside the tree with great interest. Suddenly it got up and craned over the hole.
Oh, well now, Kitty, what do you see there, inside the ash? Careful of the edge there. Careful now.
But the bit of edge on which it stood gave way, and the cat went slithering in. Everyone looked up at the noise of the fall. It is known to most of us that a cat can cry, but few of us have heard, I hope, such a yell as came out of the trunk of the great ash. 2 or 3 screams there were, and then the slight and muffled noise of some commotion or struggling was all that came. But Lady Mary Harvey fainted outright, and the housekeeper stopped her ears and fled till she fell on the terrace. The Bishop of Kilmore and Sir William Kentfield stayed.
There is something more than we know of in that tree, my lord. I'm for an instant search.
I agree with you there, Sir William. We must get to the bottom of this. The secret of these terrible deaths is there, in the ash tree.
A ladder was brought, and one of the gardeners went up, and looking down the hollow could detect nothing but a few dim indications of something moving. They got a lantern, and the gardener let it down by a rope cautiously. They saw the yellow light upon his face as he bent over, and suddenly the face became struck with an incredulous terror and loathing.
Oh!
He fell back from the ladder, letting the lantern fall inside the tree.
Quick, Sir William, catch the man. What has he seen? What has he seen? He's in a dead faint, my lord. It will be some time, I fear, before any word can be got from him. But look to the tree. Look to the tree, my lord. It's aflame.
The bystanders made a ring at some yards' distance, and Sir William and the bishop sent men to get what weapons and tools they could, for clearly whatever might be using the tree as its lair would be forced out by the fire.
And so it was. First, at the fork, we saw a round body, covered with fire the size of a man's head, appear very suddenly, then seemed to collapse and fall back. This 5 or 6 times.
Then a smaller ball leapt into the air and fell on the grass, where after a moment it lay still. We went as near as we dared to it, and saw.
Look, your lordship, it's an enormous spider. The remains, veinous and seared, of an enormous spider.
And as the fire burned, more terrible bodies like that began to break out from the trunk. And it was seen that these were covered with greyish hair.
There will be guests at the hall. There will be guests at Castringham Hall, Sir Matthew. There will be guests at the hall.
All that day the ash burned, and until it fell to pieces the men stood about it and from time to time killed the brutes as they darted out. At last there was a long interval when none appeared, and we cautiously moved in and examined the roots of the tree. We found below it a rounded, hollow place in the earth, wherein were 2 or 3 bodies of these creatures that had been plainly smothered by the smoke. And what is to me more curious, at the side of this den, against the wall, was crouching the anatomy or skeleton of a human being, with the skin dried upon the bones, having some remains of black hair. It was pronounced by those that later examined it to be undoubtedly the body of a woman, and clearly dead for a period of 50 years.
Welcome to the Black Mass. Have you ever noticed the mannequins in the window of your favorite department store? Here's a story about how they may have gotten there, by John Collier. It's called Evening Primrose.
It's late afternoon in Bracey's department store. And there's Miss Sadie Brodrib just purchasing a pad of High Life Bond for 25 cents. Tonight, when she opens the pad, she'll discover that it's already been used by a Mr. Charles Snell to tell about a series of events which begins with an entry marked March 21st. March 21st. Today I made my decision. I would turn my back, for good and all, upon the bourgeois world that hates a poet. I would leave, get out, break away. And I have done it. I have done it. I am free. Free as the mote that dances in the sunbeam. Free as a housefly crossing first class in the largest of luxury liners. Free as my verse. Free as the food I shall eat, the paper I write upon, the lambswool-lined, softly slithering slippers I shall wear. This morning I had not so much as a car fare. Now I am here on velvet. You are itching to learn of this haven. You would like to organize trips here, spoil it. Send your relations-in-law. Perhaps even come yourself. After all, this journal will hardly fall into your hands until I am dead. So I'll tell you. I am at Bracey's giant emporium, as happy as a mouse in the middle of an immense cheese. And the world shall know me no more. Merrily, merrily shall I now live, secure behind a towering pile of carpets, in a corner nook, which I propose to line with eiderdowns, angora vestments, and the Cleopatrian tops in pillows. I shall be cozy. I nipped into this sanctuary late this afternoon, and soon heard the dying footfalls of closing time. From now on, my only effort will be to dodge the night watchman. Poets can dodge. I have already made my first mouse-like exploration. I tiptoed as far as the stationery department, and timid darted back with only these writing materials. The poet's first need. Now I shall lay them aside and seek other necessities. Food, wine, the soft furniture of my couch, a natty sporting jacket. This place stimulates me. Dawn, next day. I suppose no one in the world was ever more astonished and overwhelmed than I have been tonight. It is unbelievable. Yet I believe it. I believe it. How interesting life is when things get like that. I crept out as I said I would, and found the great shop in mingled light and gloom. The central well was half illuminated. The circling galleries towered in a pansy pyramide of toppling light and shade. The spidery stairways and flying bridges had passed from purpose into fantasy. Silks and velvets glimmered like ghosts. 100 panty-clad models offered simpers and embraces to the desert air. Rings, clips, and bracelets glittered frostily in a desolate absence of honey and daddy. Creeping along the transverse aisles, which were in deeper darkness, I felt like a wandering thought in the dreaming brain of a chorus girl down on her luck. Only, of course, their brains are not as big as Bracey's giant emporium, and there was no man there. None, that is, except the night watchman. I had forgotten him. As I crossed an open space on the mezzanine floor, hugging the lee of a display of sultry shawls, I became aware of a regular thudding, which might almost have been that of my own heart. Suddenly it burst upon me that it came from outside me. It was footsteps, and they were only a few paces away. Quick as a flash, I seized a flamboyant mantilla, whirled it about me, and stood with one arm outflung, like a carman petrified in a gesture of disdain. I was successful. He passed me, jingling his little machine on its chain, humming a little tune. His eyes stared with reflections of the blaring day. Go, worldling, I whispered.
and permitted myself a soundless laugh. But it froze on my lips. My heart faltered. A new fear seized me. I was afraid to move. I was afraid to look around. I felt I was being watched by something that could see right through me. This was a very different feeling from the ordinary emergency caused by the very ordinary night watchman. My conscious impulse was the obvious one to glance behind me. But my eyes knew better. Now I remained absolutely petrified, staring straight ahead. My eyes were trying to tell me something that my brain refused to believe. They made their point. I was looking straight into another pair of eyes. Human eyes. But large, flat, luminous. I have seen such eyes among the nocturnal creatures which creep out under the artificial red moonlight in the zoo. The owner was only a dozen feet away from me. The watchman had passed between us, nearer him than me, yet he had not seen him. I must have been looking straight at him for several minutes at a stretch. I had not seen him either. He was half reclining against the low dais, clad in dim but large patterned satin tweeds of the latest cut, suede shoes, a shirt of a rather broad motif. He was as pale as a creature found under a stone. His long, thin arms ended in hands that hung floatingly, more like trailing, transparent fins, or wisps of chiffon than ordinary hands. He spoke. His voice was not a voice. It was a mere whistling under the tongue. Not bad for a beginner. I grasped that he was complimenting me, rather satirically, on my own more amateurish feat of camouflage. I'm sorry, I didn't know anyone else lived here. Oh, yes. We live here. It's delightful. We? Yes. All of us. Look. We were near the edge of the first gallery. He swept his long hand round, indicating the whole well of the shop. I looked. I saw nothing. I could hear nothing except the watchman's thudding step receding infinitely far along some basement aisle. Don't you see? You know the sensation one has peering into the half-light of a vivarium. One sees bark, pebbles, a few leaves, nothing more. And then, suddenly, a stone breathes. It is a toad. There is a chameleon. Another. A coiled adder, a mantis among the leaves. The whole case seems crepitant with life. Perhaps the whole world is. One glances at one's sleeve, one's feet. So it was with the shop. I looked, and it was empty. I looked, and there was an old lady clambering out from behind the monstrous clock. There were three girls, elderly and new, incredibly emaciated, simpering at the entrance of the perfumery. Their hair was a fine floss, pale as gossamer. Equally brittle and colorless was a man with the appearance of a colonel of southern extraction who stood regarding me while he caressed mustachios that would have done credit to a crystal shrimp. A chintzy woman, possibly of literary tastes, swam forward from the curtains and drapes. They came thick about me, fluttering, whistling like a waving of gauze in the wind. Their eyes were wide and flatly bright. I saw there was no color to the iris. How raw he looked, the detective, sent for the dark men. I'm not a detective, I'm a poet. I've renounced the world. He is a poet. He has come over to us. Mr. Roscoe found him. He admires us. We must meet Mrs. Vanderpant. I was taken to meet Mrs. Vanderpant. She proved to be the grand old lady of the store, almost entirely transparent. So you are a poet, Mr. Snow. You will find inspiration here. I am quite the oldest inhabitant. 3 murders and a complete rebuilding. But they didn't get rid of me. Tell how you went out by daylight, dear Mrs. Vanderpant, and nearly got bought for Whisper's mother. That was in pre-war days. I was more robust then. But at the task desk, they suddenly remembered that there was no flame. And when they came back to look at me, she was gone. Their laughter was like the stridulation of the ghosts of grasshoppers. Where is Ella? Where is my broth? She is bringing it, Mrs. Vanderpant. It will come. Tiresome little creature. She is our foundling, Mr. Snow. She is not quite our sort. Is that so, Mrs. Vanderpant, dear, dear? I lived alone here, Mr. Snow, for many years. I took refuge here in the terrible times in the 80s. I was a young girl then, a beauty, people were kind enough to say. But poor Papa lost his money. Braces meant a lot to a young girl in New York of those days, Mr. Smith. It seemed to me terrible that I should not be able to come here in the ordinary way. So I came here for good. I was quite alarmed when others began to come in after the collapse. It was the dear judge, the colonel, Mrs. Bilby. I bowed. I was being introduced. Mrs. Bilby writes plays, and of a very old Philadelphia family. You will find us quite nice here, Mr. Snow. I feel it a great privilege, Mrs. Vanderpant. And of course, all our dear young people came in 1929. Their poor papas jumped from the skyscrapers. I did a lot of bowing. The introductions took a long time. Who would have thought so many people lived at Braces? And here at last is Ella with my broth. It was then I noticed that the young people were not so young after all. In spite of their smiles, their little ways, their ingenue dress. Ella was in her teens, clad only in something from the shop-soiled counter. She nevertheless had the appearance of a living flower in a French cemetery, or a mermaid among polyps. Come, you stupid thing! Mrs. Vanderpant is waiting. Her pallor was not like theirs, not like the pallor of something that glistens or scuttles when you turn over a stone. Hers was that of a pearl. Ella. Pearl of this remotest, most fantastic tale. Little mermaid, brushed over, pressed down by objects of a deadlier white. Tentacles. I can write no more. March 28th. Well, I'm rapidly becoming used to my new and half-lit world, to my strange company. I'm learning the intricate laws of silence and camouflage which dominate the apparently casual strollings and gatherings of the midnight clan. How they detest the night watchman, whose existence imposes these laws on their idle festivals. Odious, vulgar creature. He reeks of the poor sun. Actually, he is quite a personable young man, very young for a night watchman. And so young that I think he must have been wounded in the war. But they would like to tear him to pieces. They're very pleasant to me, though. They're pleased that a poet should have come among them. Yet I cannot like them entirely. My blood is a little chilled by the uncanny ease with which even the old ladies can clamber spider-like from balcony to balcony. Or is it because they are unkind to Ella? Yesterday we had a bridge party. Tonight, Mrs. Bilby's little play, Love in Shadowland, is going to be presented. Would you believe it? Another colony from Wanamaker's is coming over en masse to attend. Apparently people live in all the great stores. This visit is considered a great honor, for there is an intense snobbery in these creatures. They speak with horror of a social outcast who left the high-class Madison Avenue establishment and now leads a wallowing, beachcomberous life in a delicatessen. And they relate with tragic emotion the story of a man in Altman who conceived such a passion for a model-plaid dressing jacket that he emerged and wrested it from the hands of a purchaser. It seems that all the Altman colony, dreading an investigation, were forced to remove beyond the social pale into a five and dime. Well, I must get ready to attend the play. April 14th. I have found an opportunity to speak to Ella. I dared not before. Here one has a sense always of pale eyes secretly watching. But last night at the play, I developed a fit of hiccups. I was told, somewhat sternly, to go and secrete myself in the basement, among the garbage cans where the watchman never comes. There, in that rat-haunted darkness, I heard a stifled sob. What's that? Is it you, Ella? Oh, what ails you, child? Why do you cry? They wouldn't even let me see the play. Oh, is that all? Let me console you. I'm so unhappy. She told me her tragic little story. What do you think? When she was a child, a little tiny child of only 6, she strayed away and fell asleep behind a counter while her mother tried on a new hat. When she awoke, the store was in darkness. I cried, and they all came around. He took hold of me. She will tell if we let her go. Call in the dark men. Let her stay here. She will make me a nice little maid. Who are these dark men, Ella? They spoke of them when I came here. Don't you know? Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Tell me, Ella. Let us share it. You know the morticians called Journey's End, who go to the houses when people die? Yes, Ella. Well, in that shop, just like here, and at Gimbel's and at Bloomingdale's, there are people living. People like these. Ah, how disgusting. But what can they live upon, Ella? In a funeral home? Don't ask me. Dead people are sent there to be embalmed. Oh, they are terrible creatures. Even the people here are terrified of them. But if anyone dies, or if some poor burglar breaks in and sees these people and might tell. Yes, go on. Then they send for the others. The dark men. Good heavens. Yes. And they put the body in surgical supply, or the burglars, all tied up if it's the burglar. And they send for these others. And then they all hide. And when they come, the others, all are like pieces of blackness. I saw them once. It was terrible. And then? They go in to where the dead person is, or the poor burglar. And they have wax there, and all sorts of things. And when they're gone, there's just one of these wax models left on the table. And then our people put a dress on it, or a bathing suit, and they mix it up with all the others. And nobody ever knows. But aren't they heavier than the others? These wax models. You would think they'd be heavier. No, they're not heavier. I think there's a lot of them gone. Oh, dear. So they were going to do that to you when you were only a child? Yes. Only Mrs. Vanderpump said I was to be her maid. I don't like these people, Ella. Nor do I. I wish I could see a bird. Why don't you go into the pet shop? It wouldn't be the same. I want to see it on a twig, with leaves. Ella, let us meet often. Let us creep away down here and meet. I will tell you about birds and twigs and leaves. May 1st. For the last few nights, the store has been feverish with the shivering whisper of a huge crush at Bloomingdale. Tonight was the night.
Not changed yet. We leave on the stroke of 2.
Roscoe had appointed himself, or been appointed, my guide. Oh, my God. Roscoe, I am still a greenhorn. I dread the streets.
Oh, nonsense. There's nothing to it. We slip out by 2s and 3s. Stand on the sidewalk. Pick up a taxi. Were you never out late in the old days? If so, you must have seen us many a time.
Good heavens. I believe I have. And often wondered where you came from. And it was from here. But Roscoe, my brow is burning. I find it hard to breathe. I fear I am catching a cold.
Oh, well, in that case, you must certainly remain behind. Our whole party would be disgraced in the unfortunate event of a sneeze.
I had relied on their rigid etiquette, so largely based on fear of discovery, and I was right. Soon they were gone, drifting out like leaves aslant on the wind. At once I dressed in flannel slacks, canvas shoes, and a tasteful sport jacket, all new in stock today. I found a quiet spot, safely off the track beaten by the night watchman. There, in a model's lifted hand, I set a wide-burned frond culled from the florist shop, and at once had a young spring tree. The carpet was sandy as a lakeside beach. A snowy napkin, 2 cakes, each with a cherry on it. I had only to imagine the lake, and to find Ella.
"Why, Charles, what's this?"
I'm a poet, Ella. And when a poet meets a girl like you, he thinks of a day in the country. Do you see this tree? Let us call it our tree. There's the lake, the prettiest lake imaginable. Here is grass, and there are flowers. There are birds too, Ella. You told me you like birds.
Oh, Charles, you're so sweet. I feel I can hear them singing.
And here's our lunch. But before we eat, go behind the rock there and see what you find.
What rock? Over here? A surprise?
I heard her cry out in delight when she saw the summer dress I had put there for her.
Oh, Charles, it's beautiful.
When she came back, the spring day smiled to see her, and the lake shone brighter than before.
Oh, Charles.
Ella, let us have lunch. Let us have fun. Let us have a swim. I can just imagine you in one of those new bathing suits.
Let's just sit here, Charles, and talk.
So we sat and talked. And the time was gone like a dream. We might have stayed there, forgetful of everything, had it not been for the spider.
Charles, what are you doing?
Nothing, my dear. Just a naughty little spider crawling over your knee. Purely imaginary, of course. But that thought was sometimes the worst. I had to try to catch him.
Don't, Charles. It's late. It's terribly late. I'll be back in a minute. I'd better go home.
I took her home to the kitchenware on the sub-ground floor and kissed her good day. She offered me her cheek. This troubles me. May 10th. Ella, I love you. I said it to her just like that. We have met many times. I've dreamt of her by day. I've not even kept up my journal. Verse has been out of the question. Ella, I love you. Let us move into the trousseau department. Don't look so dismayed, darling. If you like, we will go right away from here. We will live in that little restaurant in Central Park. There are thousands of birds there.
Please don't talk like that.
But I love you, with all my heart.
You mustn't.
But I find I must. I can't help it. Ella, you don't love another.
Oh, Charles, I do.
Love another? Ella? One of these? I thought you dreaded them all. It must be Roscoe. He's the only one that's in any way human. We talk of art, life, and such things, and he has stolen your heart.
No, Charles, no. You're just like the rest, really. I hate them all. They make me shudder.
Who is it, then?
It's him.
Who?
The night watchman.
Impossible.
No. He smells of the sun.
Oh, Ella, you have broken my heart.
Be my friend, though.
Yeah, I will. I'll be your brother. How did you fall in love with him?
Oh, Charles, it was so wonderful. I was thinking of birds, and I was careless. Don't tell him, Charles, they'll punish me.
No, go on.
I was careless, and there he was, coming round the corner, and there was no place for me to hide. I had this blue dress on. There were only some wax models in the underthings.
Please go on.
I couldn't help it. I slipped off my dress and stood still.
I see.
And he stopped just by me, Charles, and he looked at me, and he touched my cheek.
Did he notice nothing?
No, it was cold. But Charles, he said, say, honey, I wish they made him like you on 8th Avenue. Charles, wasn't that a lovely thing to say?
Personally, I should have said Park Avenue.
Charles, don't get like these people here. Sometimes I think you're getting like them. It doesn't matter what street, Charles. It was a lovely thing to say.
Yes, but my heart's broken. And what can you do about him, Ella? He belongs to another world.
Yes, Charles. 8th Avenue. I want to go there. Charles, are you truly my friend?
I am your brother. Only my heart's broken.
I'll tell you. I will. I'm going to stand there again. So you'll see me.
And then?
Perhaps you'll speak to me again.
My dearest Ella, you are torturing yourself. You're making it worse.
No, Charles. Because I shall answer him. He will take me away.
Ella, I can't bear it.
There's someone coming. I shall see birds. New birds, Charles. And flowers growing. They're coming. You must go.
May 13th. The last 3 days have been torture. This evening I broke. Roscoe had joined me. He sat eyeing me for a long time. He put his hand on my shoulder. You're looking seedy, old fellow. Why don't you go over to Wanamaker's for some skiing? It's deeper than that, Roscoe. I'm done for. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't write. Man, I can't even write. Oh, what is it? Day starvation? Roscoe, it's love. Not one of the staff, Charles. Or the customers. That's absolutely forbidden. No, it's not that, Roscoe, but just as hopeless. Oh, my dear old fellow. I can't bear to see you like this. Let me help you. Let me share your trouble. Then it all came out. It burst out. I trusted him. I think I trusted him. I really think I have no intention of betraying her, of spoiling her escape, of keeping her here till her heart turned towards me. If I had, it was subconscious. I swear it. But I told him all. He was sympathetic, but I detected a sly reserve in his sympathy. You will respect my confidence, Roscoe. This has to be a secret between us. The secret is the grave, old chap. And he must have gone straight to Mrs. Vanderpant. This evening the atmosphere has changed. People flicker to and fro, smiling nervously, horribly, with a sort of frightened, sadistic exultation. When I speak to any of them, they answer evasively, fidget and disappear. An informal dance has been called off. I can't find Ella anywhere. I will creep out. I will look for her again. Later. Heaven, heaven, it has happened. I went in desperation to the manager's office, whose glass front overlooks the whole shop. I watched till midnight. Then I saw a little group of them, like ants bearing a victim. They were carrying Ella. They took her to the surgical department. They took other things. And coming back here, I was passed by a flittering, whispering horde of them, glancing over their shoulders in a thrilled ecstasy of panic, making for their hiding places. I, too, hid myself. How can I describe the dark, inhuman creatures that passed me, silent in shadow? They went there. The dark men. Where Ella is. What can I do? There is only one thing I will find the watchman. I will tell him. He and I will have her. And if we are overpowered, well, I will leave this on a counter. Tomorrow, if we live, I can recover it. If not, look in the windows. Look for 3 new figures. 2 men. One rather sensitive-looking, and a girl. She has blue eyes, like periwinkle flowers, and her upper lip is lifted a little. Look for us. Look for us. Smoke them out. Obliterate them. Avenge us. Avenge us. That was Evening Primrose by John Collier. The part of Ella was played by Jan Dawson, and the rest of the cast was impersonated by your host of the Black Mass, Erik Bauersfeld. The technical production was by Fred Seiden. And now, good night.
Welcome to the Black Mass. Tonight, a ghost story by Ambrose Bierce. Here is The Moonlit Road.
You haven't touched your tea, Mr. Stephen. Shall I warm it?
Don't fuss, Ellen. Please don't fuss.
Sherry, then.
No, I have it here.
Well, this pillow'll be more comfortable.
Oh, Ellen, stop. I'm not helpless yet. What you can do is close the terrace window. There's a draft again.
Oh, Mr. Stephen, but the window's closed. There's no draft, not from here.
Not open? But I felt... Oh, yes, well... Never mind, then.
It's a chill you have, Mr. Stephen. And I'm going to have Billy fetch Dr. Benson.
For God's sake, stop, Ellen. Stop it. Get Billy to stoke up the fire, and that's all. Now, let me alone.
Yes, sir.
No? Not a draft? Well, they'll have the house to themselves now, soon enough. As you can see, I am the most unfortunate of men. I am rich, I am respected and well-educated, and until just recently of sound health. I'm the only child of Joel and Julia Hetman. My father was a well-to-do country gentleman. His wife, my mother, was a beautiful and obedient woman, to whom he was passionately attached with what I now can suspect was a jealous and exacting devotion. The details that I can relate hardly add up to a story. Indeed, they could fit together in any number of ways. I've imagined all sorts, with feelings so opposed that they've worn down finally to no feeling at all. Doesn't matter now. It ought never to have mattered. Briefly, then, I was a student at Yale. One day I received a telegram from my father of such urgency that in compliance with its unexplained demand, I left at once for home.
Father? Stephen, this way. Stephen, it's terrible to have to tell you this way.
Well, tell me, for God's sake, what is it?
Your mother. It's your mother, Stephen.
What's happened? She's ill. Dying. Father, now what's happened?
She's dead, Stephen.
But how?
Murdered. Barbarously murdered.
Murdered? Why? By whom?
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything. I had gone to Nashville. I didn't expect to be back before the following afternoon. There was a complication, and I returned home the same night. It was late, nearly dawn. I found I had no latchkey. I didn't want to wake the servant, so I walked around to the back. I don't know why, the doors are always locked. But to my surprise, the back door was open. It was standing open, as if someone had just used it. I entered and went upstairs to your mother's room. In the darkness, I stumbled over her. I'll spare you the details, save to say that she was already dead. Strangulation.
But why? Was anything taken from the house?
Nothing. So far as we could see.
But what about the servants? Hadn't they heard any sound?
No, nothing.
And the assassin? Is there no trace of him?
Nothing. But those terrible finger marks on her throat. Dear God, that I may forget them.
I gave up my studies and remained with my father. He was greatly changed. He had always been of a sedate, taciturn disposition. Now he had fallen into so deep a dejection that nothing could hold his attention. Yet anything could arouse him to a fitful interest, a footfall, A sudden entrance. One might have called it an apprehension.
Hey? Who's there? Who is it?
It's only me, Father.
Oh, come in. Well, don't stand there in the dark that way.
Shall we take our walk this evening?
No, the garden's chilly, and I'm tired. I think I'll go to my room directly.
I worry about you, Father. I know that this whole thing has been terrible for you, but you've become too melancholy. Have you taken to sleepwalking as well?
Sleepwalking? Why?
Last night, didn't you enter my room? I heard steps along the hall, and then my door opened. Someone stood there in the doorway. I thought it was you, and I called out. When I turned on the light, you'd gone. Got to the door only soon enough to see your door closing down the hall. Wasn't it you, Father? Can you remember?
No, it wasn't me. It must have been your mother. She worries if you come in. Yes, I remember. She got up during the night and then came back. She couldn't have. Stephen, what are you trying to do?
Do?
Isn't it bad enough for me now? Must you make things worse with your fantasies, your imagining?
Well, it might have been a servant.
Must have been Ellen. She's always doting over you.
Well, I only wondered that it... Well, if it wasn't you, it might have been...
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that the assassin might have returned, might still be in the house.
That's nonsense. Nonsense.
Why? He's never been found. He's still somewhere.
Yes, I suppose.
Father, have you told me everything that happened that night?
Of course. What else? Why do you ask?
Because it doesn't make sense. Mother was adored by everyone. She was the kindest woman who ever walked the earth. No sane creature could possibly want to hurt her.
Sane? Why do you say sane?
Father, did she have a lover?
Stephen.
Was that it? Is that who opened the back door that night you came back from Nashville? Are you hiding that from me to save her memory?
Oh, stop!
He might have done it. I could imagine that. Mother loved you. I know that. She was devoted to you. She'd never been unfaithful, but she was kind to everyone. I can imagine his jealousy, his fury at her refusing him.
Stephen, stop this.
Well, what did happen?
She was murdered. Isn't that enough?
Enough? Yes. But is it enough for her? Is she still here in this house? Does she haunt us, searching for her lover or her murderer? Does she blame us, Father?
Stephen, let it alone. For God's sake, let it alone.
I never saw her, but I was convinced that her ghost walked the house. The terrible cold of the presence of the dead was everywhere. Perhaps he saw her. I could not. But there were moments at night.
Stephen. Oh, Stephen.
Mother!
Stephen.
The iciness of the grave. The smell of decay. No. I won't see you. I can't. But I imagined I saw her face hideous, white with hate, rotting. No, go away. I am not your assassin. I am not your assassin. One night, a few months later, my father and I were returning home from our evening's walk. A full moon was high above the horizon, and the road, save for the black shadows of the bordering trees, was a ghostly white. As we approached the gate of our dwelling, my father suddenly stopped. He clutched my arm. Father, what's the matter?
There, what is that?
I see nothing, Father.
There, at the gate, directly ahead.
There's nothing, Father. Come on now, we better go in.
No.
You're ill.
No, go away. Oh, go away.
Father, what do you see?
No, Julia, no. No.
I tried to follow him, but for some reason couldn't move from the spot.
Go away.
The chill had touched my face.
Julia.
It was all about me.
Julia.
I couldn't turn my head.
No. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
When I turned to look for my father, he was gone. And in all the years that have passed, no whisper of his fate has reached me. I remained here, my youth of brilliant parts and promise faded, its life-blood drained, sifted into the darkness and the silence of this house. Voices seek me out. I hear them not, but only doubt. Doubt and emptiness.
Drink up. Drink up. Tomorrow. Today, I suppose you'd say I was alive. Alive. And tomorrow, well, there's no tomorrow, no yesterday. There's nothing beyond that forest, those trees. That's all I can remember back to. Forest. 20 years ago, I came out of a forest, made my way across the country, all the way to this place. Well, that was something. That was something. I didn't even know my name. I called myself Casper. Casper. Everyone wants to know, what's your name? What's your name? In this world, everyone must have a name. It prevents confusion, even when it does not establish identity. Casper prevented confusion and spent 20 years trying to find a comfortable way to die. There's some small light, though, of a past. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. That's the only thing that seems like a recollection, even if it's wrong or confused. The only thing I have of that life. Two scenes, play over and over. First, there's a house, a big house, owned by a prosperous planter. And there's a woman, a beautiful woman, like a child. And a boy, their son. He's a vague figure, never clear, usually not there at all. The father loves the wife terribly, but he's tortured by a fear that she doesn't belong to him. He can't seem to believe her devotion, her love. And he's reduced to vulgar and commonplace ways of testing her. One day, he goes to the city. He tells her, I'll be gone till the next afternoon. But I'll come back. I'll come back that night and go to a rear door that I had left unlocked. It's dark all around the house. But as I approach, I hear something. The door is open. And a figure. A man. I thought it was a man. I feared it was a man. Sometimes now I can't even believe it was human. He headed straight for me, then just disappeared in the dark. I didn't know where to chase him. So intensely did my jealousy and rage fill me, I didn't search. I rushed into the house and up the stairs to her room, and I pushed open her door. I saw the bed, vaguely. The covers tossed about. I went to it. Empty. She was gone. Escaped. Or hiding. I looked about in the darkness. Walked straight to a corner where she knelt against the wall. I could see her face, the terror in her eyes, the guilt. Her hands were at her throat. I kneeled on her struggling body, and there in the darkness, I strangled her till she was dead. Dead. No, it never happened. It never happened. I don't believe it. Oh, I was possessed. Possessed by something or someone. But it's all I have. It's all that comes from me. And I go over it again and again. No. There's another scene. Another dream. Another vision of the night. I stand among shadows along a moonlit road. Someone is with me. I cannot see who. But there's another presence. Ahead. Where the road ends at a gate. In the shadow of the large house. I catch the gleam of white garments. Then the figure of a woman before me on the road. My wife, Julia, murdered. Death in the face. Marks on the throat. Eyes are fixed on mine with an infinite sadness. Sadness, not hate. Not menace, but the apparition terrifies me. Terrifies me. Still terrifies me. She still reaches out to me here. No.
Drink up. Drink up. This does it. Wipes it out. Wipes it out. For a little while. For a little while.
Stephen. Stephen.
No. No, go away. I am not your assassin.
It's no use. And it only confuses me why he's so fearful. He doesn't see me. He never saw me. I can't imagine what he would see now. But fear has no sense at all. It's crazy. Just crazy. It makes horrible things out of those who want only kindness and some peace. I keep wandering among these scenes, these rooms, in search of something that just doesn't matter anymore, what really happened. No one seems to know. Joel's gone, and there's only Stephen left for a little while. Stephen's my son. He wasn't here at the time. He was away at college. Joel wasn't here either. He'd gone to Nashville on some business and was staying the night. I had retired early and fallen into a peaceful sleep, but then I awoke. The house seemed more than usually quiet. I had a strange sense of danger, of something. Well, not that I was afraid of being alone. I was often alone. But this was different. There was a chill, as one waits for a thing long imagined or feared. And the feeling grew as I lay there. I felt as if I were lying straight and cold in my coffin. The white satin around my head. The smell of dried flowers. A little bouquet I held in my hand. I wanted to pull my fingers apart, but couldn't, as in a dream. No. I strained for some sign of life in me. And then... I could feel my heart pounding. It was a dream. I sat up in the dark and listened. My own heart was the only sound at first. I listened, and after a while I wondered if the beating came from inside me or somewhere else. I tried to hear which. And then, as if my own fears had decided, had reached out into the dark house and begun to assemble some figure, something. I heard it first on the stairway from the back entrance just below my room. A soft, irregular sound of footfalls on the stairs. It was slow, hesitant, uncertain, as of something that did not see its way. To my disordered reason, all the more terrifying for that, as the approach of some blind and mindless malevolence to which there is no appeal. I said that fear has no brains, it's an idiot. But this had a growing purpose, taking shape as it approached. It approached my door, and then stood there. I heard the breath. He hesitated, his hand on the door. Then it turned and went away, down the stairs, hurriedly. As if in sudden fear, I rose to call for help. But hardly had my shaking hand found the doorknob when I heard it returning. It ran up the stairs, shaking the house. I fled to a corner of the room and crouched on the floor. I tried to cry out. I tried to call Joel, my husband, but suddenly it was in the room, searching me out. Oh, it had gone to the bed and stopped there and turned and came directly to me. I felt a strangling clutch upon my throat. I beat feebly against something that bombed backward. I felt my tongue thrust itself between my teeth. And then I passed into this life. No, I have no knowledge of what it was. The sum of what we know at death is the measure of what we know afterwards. No new light falls upon any page of it. In memory is written all that we can read. We hide in the dark and peer out into the dim light of the present and the fading past. But there is one more scene. A night. We know when it is night, for then you retire to your houses, and we can venture from our places of concealment to move unafraid about our old home, to look in at the windows, even to enter rooms and gaze upon your faces as you sleep. I could see my husband Joel and Stephen. How strange they looked. How lone. Had they loved me after all? They were saddened and aged by my departure. I tried so often to make them see me, some way to let them know I was here, and send them my great love and pity. But always if I dared approach or wake them in their sleep, they would turn toward me the terrible eyes of the living, frightening me. And I would hesitate, as if my hand was now upon the door, and turn away. On this night I had searched for them, but they were nowhere in the house. I looked about the moonlit lawn, and then moved in the white light along the path to the gate. Suddenly I saw them on the road. They had stopped walking and were looking toward the house. I heard their voices. They stood in the shadow of a group of trees. They stood near, so near. Their faces were turned toward me. And Joel's eyes were fixed on mine. He saw me. At last he saw me. All my terror and hesitation was gone. He sees, he will understand. I moved forward, smiling and consciously beautiful, to offer myself to his arms, to comfort him, to speak words that would restore the broken bonds between the living and the dead. Joel. Joel. Joel.
No.
But his face went white with fear.
Julia.
His eyes were those of a hunted animal.
Away. Leave me alone.
He backed away and ran.
No.
Ran right into the woods.
No.
He never returned. Maybe he died and wanders about some other place as I do here. And Stephen, poor Stephen, is left even more alone.
You haven't touched your teeth.
I've never been able to make him know that I'm here, watching him, longing to care for him as a mother should. But soon he too must pass to this life invisible and be lost to me. Lost.
Oh,
Lost.
Mr. Stephen, but the window's closed. There's no drag, not
That was The Moonlit Road by Ambrose Bierce. The part of Julia was played by Norma Jean Wanvig. Stefan was Martin Ponch. Ellen was played by Nancy Ponch. And Joel was played by your host of the Black Mass, Erik Bauersfeld. The technical production was by John Whiting. And now, good night.